The Harvard MBA Career Choice essay is: please reflect on how your experiences have influenced your career choices and aspirations and the impact you strive to make on the businesses, organizations, and communities you plan to serve. So, this is a 300-word question. Now, there are two themes that I've seen while reading essays on career choice. One is a reflection of childhood events or most defining event. And the second is the role of a mentor into helping you choose a particular career. Given the choice, I would always go with a childhood event because you don't have to spend a lot of words on the mentor. This would not have been a problem when there was no word count or when the word count was 900. But with 300 words, you need a strategy or a framework to write your Harvard MBA Career Choice essay. Because the second part is: what will be your impact on businesses, organizations, and communities that you plan to serve? So this is a two-part question. So you have to be very careful in using the right tools and frameworks to reflect on your experiences. The two frameworks that I would recommend are the Big Five and the RIASEC frameworks. The RIASEC framework is a framework where R stands for realistic, I for investigative, A for artistic, S for social, E for enterprising, and C for conventional. So what is realistic? Realistic professions are any professions where the person enjoys working outdoors and with their hands, either with tools or machines. They need to work on real, visceral objects to find meaning in their career. So these are your engineering candidates, mechanical, oil and gas, or even sports persons or military. So all these applicants fall under the realistic applicant pool. I stands for investigative. Finance, science, math, and technology majors fit into this group where the person is energized by working alone on a problem. Collaboration with peers is pursued to fasten reaching the solution or to acquire knowledge. It's a means to an end and not the primary motivation for teamwork. The third, or A, stands for artistic. Another group that thrives alone are artistic people who like to maximize their imagination to work with both ideas and real visceral objects. They are an intersection of realistic and investigative groups in terms of working in a team, but in thinking, their motivations are unique. Now, the S stands for social, a stereotype for women applicants working in non-profits, marketing, and on-ground development work as part of the government. This group thrives at helping the community. So if your day job falls under the realistic or investigative group, a social activity will raise your RIASEC score. Now, what is E? E stands for enterprising. Perhaps the most valuable group that Harvard Business School is unlikely to find in high volume are entrepreneurs, as they tend not to apply to full-time MBA programs or drop out after joining the program. The closest alternative is enterprising applicants who have demonstrated unique leadership skills in starting a new initiative in the organization, like taking a process, system, or initiative to its maximum potential and thrive working with people and data. An enterprising applicant is a mix of investigative and social group. The last group is the conventional group. So this group is the least favorable for Harvard. Jobs in traditional accounting and careers fall under conventional. So if you're working for the government, if you're in accounting, or if you are in a traditional role with typical career progression, then you fall under conventional applicant pool. The extracurricular and volunteering should be among the best for conventional applicants to change the admission person's perspective. The career choice essay should also be strategically phrased to avoid building on the first impression. So this is one framework to interpret your personality, your career. The second framework, which is more popular in our culture, is the Big Five model. So let me go through the Big Five model also a little bit. Check out FNGMAT's Harvard MBA Essay Guide, where I have shown how to write the Harvard MBA Career Choice essays and other essays with essay examples. So download it from store.fngmat.com/Harvard-MBA-essay-guide. Now, the Big Five model. The first trait is extroversion. A person who is extremely good at communicating and coordinating to meet personal, team, company, or community objectives is categorized under extroverted individuals. It would be unusual for Harvard, known to popularize the case study method, to accept someone who's an introvert or with limited cross-functional and cross-hierarchical communication skills. From an admissions perspective, extroversion is extremely important. Make sure that you shortlist examples that clearly demonstrate extraversion. Shortlisting examples is half the battle. You'd be surprised at the number of rejected applicants who got in the second time just by changing the example cited in the MBA essay. So this goes for other M7 schools. Shortlist the right examples to demonstrate your extraversion skills. The second trait in the Big Five model is openness to experience. Now, openness to experience has many subcontexts. The first one is openness to actions. Openness to actions is a manifestation of extraversion where the person gets dopamine hits by pursuing sensation-seeking activities and working together with groups. Although the results on openness to action on team outcome is inconclusive, the subtrait has a positive correlation to the person's overall mental health. Now, this is not an evaluation factor for Harvard MBA career growth, so there is no correlation between success and mental health. There are really successful professionals with severe mental health issues. Now, the second subtext in openness to experience is openness to ideas. This is the fundamental tenet of learning. A person willing to engage in activities that explore new ideas are primarily seeking to build wisdom. An MBA program with diverse peers is a classic example of candidates pursuing openness to ideas, but not all applicants with openness to ideas are exhibiting creativity. So that's where openness to aesthetics comes into place. So this is a subtrait that evaluates imagination and to a large extent intelligence and emotional vulnerability. Unlike other subtraits, openness to aesthetics is a measure of a person's willingness to experience awe, a habit that regulates emotion. Contradicting the feeling of awe, this group is also more prone to depression and least likely to be extroverted in expressing emotion. So openness to aesthetics would be a disadvantage for Harvard MBA application. Now, the fourth element of openness is openness to values. So this is the subtrait that dictates political discourses. So traditional applicants like stability and established norms, while a person with an openness to values look at change as an essential path to growth. One caveat is that a person who is high on openness to values has a higher risk of developing mental health issues. The type A candidates that typically apply to the Harvard MBA program have low scores on openness to values. Applicants are persisting with the values that have earned them success till now. Now, narratives that clearly expresses openness to values is when I know that a person is better suited for Stanford MBA program over Harvard. So this is one thing as an editor and consultant I really pay a lot of attention to. The fifth element of openness is openness to fantasy. So this is more of a measure of your mental health and resilience than a trait in itself to measure performance. So if a person is fantasizing about an ideal outcome while not managing the real outcome, it can lead to depression. So the chance of derailing the pursuit of a goal affects extroverted people with an openness to fantasy the most. This trait also causes neurotic behavior, the inability to adjust with peers and family and motivation in general. When you cite failures in any of the narratives, make sure that the admissions team doesn't interpret the pursuit as a manifestation of openness to fantasy. The sixth and final element is openness to feelings. So women tend to have higher openness to feelings and could be overwhelmed by not processing feelings. An advantage for those with high openness to feelings is that it reduces the risk of all types of diseases, including cardiac, depression, anxiety, and a tendency for substance abuse. So what narrative can you use to express openness and career choice? And openness to action, ideas, and values play well for traditional Harvard MBA applicants working in consulting, technology, and finance, with openness to values not particularly high on the list. And openness to action, ideas, values, and aesthetics is persuasive for career switchers and creative applicants with values, ideas, and aesthetics playing a larger role in their decision. Now, the third part of the Big Five model is conscientiousness. In the most simplistic definition, conscientiousness is a trait of taking complete ownership of a task. This means putting in the effort, ensuring that the quality standards are met, and working diligently until the task is complete. I have yet to see a person who got admitted to Harvard or any M7 school without this quality. It's an unsaid requirement. The fourth trait in the Big Five model is emotional stability. An emotionally stable person is not affected permanently by negative outcomes and does not disrupt team dynamics when faced with stressors, both work or life events. From an essay narrative perspective, professionalism, even when faced with personal tragedies, are a few examples I have read a decade ago. In our current culture, where we are more open to addressing our stressors, such heroic narrative is not required to demonstrate resilience. There are other ways to build suspense just by playing with storytelling structure. I've captured this in the storytelling section of FNG Mat's Harvard MBA Essay Guide. You may download it from store.fngmat.com. However, emotional stability or resilience is still one of the top qualities that employers look for in a candidate, with a high percentage, close to 20% pursuing entrepreneurial goals at Harvard post MBA. And as an entrepreneur myself, I would vouch for this trait as the single biggest determinant in reaching your short-term and long-term goals. Failure is inevitable if your goals are ambitious. You will pivot one or several times if the post-MBA goal is anything related to entrepreneurship. For entrepreneurial applicants, keep your entrepreneurial goals in mind. Choose examples where you have pivoted or shown resilience under tremendous stress. Maybe the negative event has helped you choose a career. Even if the career choices are accident, put reason to your choice. Don't attribute your career choice to luck. The fifth trait in the Big Five model is agreeableness. Person high in agreeability is known to earn much lower than non-agreeable persons or persons who have prioritized self-interest goals over maintaining harmony in a team. Now, this is not the right thing to say in our PC culture, but from a school's perspective, a reasonably agreeable person who has the extraversion skills to focus on the class objective while also possessing emotional stability to work with peers from diverse background is sufficient to meet the definition of an agreeable peer. Now, to write how you will contribute to have an impact on the businesses, organizations, and communities you plan to serve, read FNG Mat's Harvard MBA Essay Guide from store.fngmat.com. If you need my help in editing, including the Harvard MBA Career Choice Essay, subscribe to FNG Mat's essay editing service at store.fngmat.com/essay-editing. If you have any questions about FNG Mat's consulting and editing services, reach out to me, Atul Jose, at editor@fngmat.com.